likely to require a sustained period.
Everybody, and welcome to a Hex Token channel. Woo, man, oh man, oh man. We've got lots to talk about today, man. We've got the good, the bad, and the ugly. So that's pretty much what we're going to be talking about today. The good, the bad, and the ugly. So we'll have a bit of fun, that's for sure. And let me just set up a few things here as we go. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, hit the bell. And we're going to get into a lot of things. So we're going to start off with stock market, get into the general crypto market, get into the Hex ecosystem. Then we've got a COSA day 12 results. I should put that in the title, but my title was taken up with the Fed there. So it is a COSA day 12 results in here as well. We're going to get to Hex daily stats as well. We're heading towards 1,000 days. So we've got the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're going to talk about that. The ugly is starting off. We're starting off with the ugly. So it only gets better from here. It only gets better from here. We start off with the ugly. All right, so let's get into it. We had a couple of comments as well. So we did say yesterday's live stream, we did say that, it was pretty pivotal, the tone coming out of the Fed Reserve. So we've got our answer. Unfortunately, it is the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's the ugly part. So we're going to talk about that as well. So let's get into it. We've got a few people in the house. Let me know if the audio is okay. I think it's okay. CJ says, g'day, CJ. Good to see you in the house there. Hex Token channel member as well, and J Pond as well. Yeah, boy. Good to see J Pond too, another Hex Token channel member. And of course, Blobfish King. Woo, check out the daily payout petition. Stake it to make it. Yeah, we're going to be talking about the daily stakeout, one of our record highs payouts today. And of course, if you staked Hex T-shares, you get paid. The whole thing about Hex is that the stakers get rewarded. And of course, we've also seen the Origin accounts protect the staker class as well, regulate inflation and APYs. It's a pretty good environment. We love it. J-Pon House, you finally get to sit on class, says J-Pon. Live time. Hey, J-Pan, a pleasure. Good to see you in the house. And of course, I love the emojis. They look very cool. Katie says, sweet man in the house. Woohoo. Good to see you, Katie. Brendan as well. The floor is lava around Hedron. Yeah, Hedron is a shining light today. Man, oh man, Hedron looking good. And I did say that there was still plenty of room yesterday for it to move. Now, did that a pullback? But of course, the market is still pretty bullish. So that went back up, basically, bounced back, which is pretty nice. Stake says, let's go, Superman. Holy cow. Hedron says, Stake Hex. Yeah, Hedron looking like a boss right now. And of course, unprotected Hex and house crypto market should bottom before the end of the year. Yeah, well, we're definitely going to see that. We're going to talk about that. We'll talk about it in this next section. We're going to talk about the stock market first. Then we're going to talk about crypto markets of Bitcoin and stuff. We're going to go into the Hex. And as I say, then we're going to go to ICOSA Day 12 results. And of course, we're going to talk about a bit about Maxi and a bit about the Hex daily stats and a few things like that. So stay tuned for that. No, Richard did a Twitter Spaces, but I don't know if there was many insights from that. I tried to watch as much as I could. But this seemed to be mostly on DeFi, so I don't know if we've got anything from that. Let me know in the chat if you have heard anything that I have not covered. So cool. Well, good. Good morning, says Money Magnet. Good to see you in the house. Good morning, everybody. Audio is good, says Brennan. Thank you very much. And Ted Nelson's in the house that evening, everybody. Good to see Ted. RH prediction of 11K looking more likely. Definitely investment decks. And of course, we've still got, I played those videos of the Bitcoin arc that still seems to be in play. We've got Brazology like a boss in the house. Hey, everybody. Good to see Briz. And, of course, smash the like, ring the bell on the way in. Yeah, if you haven't subscribed, smash the subscribe button. Definitely things slow down when the markets are, red. The crypto market slows down dramatically. Engagement slows down dramatically. and it's the people that stay around, that are consistent, that accumulate when the markets are lower or moving low, or at least keep informed so they can get those opportunities later on in the year that do well, don't they? So all the rest of them, they go away, they go back to playing Xbox. They go back to playing Xbox. How about that? All right, cool. That was pretty funny. All right, yeah, let's get into it. We've got Great White as well. Morning all. Good to see you, Great White. All right, let's jump into it, folks. Let us go. And, of course, here we are. The Dow sheds 1,000 points as tough talking Powell tanks. Remember, let's have a look at the last couple of weeks. We had many weeks. I think it was about 4 weeks in a row where we had green weeks, and at least 3, but I'm thinking it was 4. And then, of course, we had the opening of this week. We had Monday, Tuesday. That was a red. It was pullback. It was down. And then we had Wednesday, Thursday. It was up green. And yesterday was pretty good too. They were up like 1.5%. And of course, today, as soon as the Powell's speech came out, the markets went down. And of course, we've had a pretty big correction. So let's look at Powell's speech. You can see it playing in the top right corner there. But let's have a look. I'm going to pull in the video, and let's have a look. This is pulled from Kitco News earlier. Let's play this. And I've got this on repeat, so it's going to play twice. And listen very carefully to the pivot here. And of course, we're going to talk about some of the context around this quickly. So let's check this out.
To require a sustained period of below trend growth. Moreover, there will very likely be some softening of labor market conditions. While higher interest rates, slower growth, and softer labor market conditions will bring down inflation, they will also bring some pain to households and businesses. These are the unfortunate costs of reducing inflation. But a failure to restore price stability would mean far greater pain. Reducing inflation is likely to require a sustained period of below trend growth. Moreover, there will very likely be some softening of labor market conditions. While higher interest rates, slower growth, and softer labor market conditions will bring down inflation, they will also bring some pain to households and businesses. These are the unfortunate costs of reducing inflation. But a failure to restore price stability would mean far greater pain.
All right, so there is Chairman Fed Powell at the symposium. And of course, these guys have pretty much just the context. So it's going to be, they're going to be more hawkish. We could see 100 basis points coming out on September the 21st. Remember, that's the end of my window of opportunity. Is pretty much between the Ethereum merge on the 15th, and of course the 21st when the Fed makes its call. We had at least three signposts on the way that could impact the markets. This is the first of them. Of course, we've also got inflation coming. Inflation and employment data coming from August, results coming in September. Those are the other two that I can think of off the top of my head that can impact the market. So we've still got a few signposts, but the big major thing is actually when the interest rate hike comes on the 25th September. This is very hawkish talk now. And so we could reasonably expect not just 50 or 75 basis points, but 100 basis points is definitely potentially going to happen on the 25th September. And of course, so now we've got, that higher end is now the risk to the market that we'll see. Now, of course, the federal funds rate, which is the interbank rate, and of course, that is currently around about 2.25 to 2.25%. And of course, that is not the retail rates. They're obviously much higher, but that is the issue there, right? So banks don't mind these times because generally speaking, there is a trade-off between buying and margins that they make, but in the short term, at least, they'll be happy about the margins. They make slightly better margins. So they'll be pretty happy. But the retails, of course, end up getting the pain, and businesses get the pain. And, of course, the higher interest rates flow into not only do they try to tackle inflation with that, and they also flow into the market, into the real economy. And, of course, there's pain for businesses and pain for the households. And that's what he's talking about, more negative GDP growth. And we'll probably have negative GDP growth in the third quarter, and so we can expect more pain as they try to address the high inflation. Now, obviously, that means if they're trying to get like 8.5% inflation target, that means interest rates would go up quite high consecutively, bam, 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 So we'll be looking at that tone, and hopefully it will change. Hopefully if there's a little bit of pullback in inflation naturally, then hopefully it will tone that down a bit. But of course, if oil prices rebound, then that's really strong inflation going in there. All sorts of issues can happen. If we have this food crisis, which many are anticipating, that also could have a big pain. Now, obviously, core inflation is what they'll really be looking at. That excludes energy and food prices. So that would be an issue. So we'll see how that plays out. But month by month, going to be pretty close onto this. This stuff, you can't ignore this stuff. This stuff is we're really pivoting from cheap money to expensive money, and that changes the stock market and crypto asset values. And so we're already kind of in a bear market, so that's going to just that outlook is just accelerated now. Yeah, once again, you got to do your own investment advice, your own due diligence, but definitely the tone of the market's changed. And of course, some people are talking about a further 50% correction in stock markets at least. So that would flow into crypto markets as well. We still see the Bitcoin grayscale discount as well. Still, I think it's 32% somewhere in that ballpark. So we've still got issues like that in place. So it's going to be pretty interesting. Obviously, quite a few of us in the chat have been talking about October, November possibly being the bottom of the markets there, and that would fit in with the Bitcoin arc, I think, going down as well. Maybe hitting that Richard Hart target, that 85% pullback to 10,600 to 11K kind of mark there. So we'll see how we go, but definitely a bearish tendency now. And of course, if this gets really high, we could have pretty massive pullbacks in GDP as well. This is a very blunt instrument, remember. So that is kind of some of the future that we've got there. So trying to stop hyperinflation. So inflation running away. So that's what he's talking about. If we don't deal with inflation, it's going to run away, and that would be a worse tax on consumers. So it's better to pay less pain rather than more pain. But the pain that we're going to get is going to be painful. Now, they put us in this situation. Remember, the U.S. administration's policies on energy were a complete blunder, and the rest of their policies are blunderous, right? So all their other problems like paying student debt, even if they get that through the Supreme Court, that's like $500 million. It's like, I think it was $500 billion or something like that. Even if they could get that, if they get that through, it's inflationary. Their Deflation Act is actually inflationary, and their energy policy is disastrous for inflation. Their management of supply chain issues has been a disaster. Their increased regulations, disaster. Their tax policy, disaster. All disaster. And of course, but before this, we had the Fed actually not too bad in the sense that, well, it was doing the wrong strategy, but now it looks like they're doing part of the right strategy. But of course, that's bad for us in asset markets. So that's why we don't mind them doing a bad strategy as long as our assets pumped, as I've been saying the last couple of days. So that's kind of where we are there at the moment. So we just got to be far more carefully going into the next few months. That's for sure. Now, this doesn't offset the fundamentals that are still coming for Hex, for example. So we're going to talk more about that later, but it does dampen down that outlook. And of course, we have got more issues coming. So that's kind of the ugly. And of course, they could have avoided this all ages ago, right? So not only has the administration got bad policies, as I just laid out, but the Fed is also bad. They're bad at their job because they have they said that inflation would be transitory, and of course, it wasn't transitory. Everyone knew it wasn't transitory, that we had some hard inflation, but these guys are a bunch of, they just don't know what they're doing. It's ridiculous. And there are also a lot of political connections as well. There's a political connection between us. And of course, they have now we're going to pay the pain. Households and the consumers are going to pay the pain because they didn't raise interest rates earlier and then balance that out, have a more balanced approach. And so now they have to go hard and hawkish. So that's kind of where we're at this stage. Now, if you don't believe what this can do to the markets, go back and look at the previous major corrections. We had a minor one, 17, 18, but go back, look at 2008, 7, look at the .com crash, look at other market pullbacks, and you'll see how quickly the market can deteriorate from once it reaches that high, particularly the stock market. And so watch that. Now, it doesn't mean that there's not going to be opportunities. There's always opportunities, even in bear markets or recession markets, or even severe recessions. So there's always opportunities, but it just means you have to be a bit more pragmatic about the environment that we're in, as opposed to euphoria as it were when markets going bull market. Now let's jump over to and the administration is not going to change any of the right policies. So I said to you that they really need to focus on supply and tax and everything else. They're not going to do any of that. In fact, they're putting fuel on the fire. So that's kind of where the environment we're in at the moment. Now, I just want to jump over to, we're going to talk about the actual market results at the moment. So we've got how did the market react to this? So you've heard my commentary on it. Now, obviously, the Dow Jones is down 1,008 points. This is how the market reacted. As soon as pretty much the speech had ended, the market went and corrected there, down 3%. Now, this doesn't mean that we might get a couple of days down, or like next week, we might get a couple of days down. We could have a relief rally as well. So don't forget that. There's always opportunities here as the market decides to adjust itself to a higher cash interest rate environment. That just take that into account. So Dow Jones down 1,000.3%. Remember, the Dow Jones is the top 30 industrials. We've got the S&P 500 down 141 points, down 3.4%. The NASDAQ down 500 points, down to 4% there as well. So that's kind of where the markets are. The dollar, of course, is where when things get bad, nation states and people, they go and buy the US dollar. It is the reserve currency. So that's what the money goes into that. So that's kind of, that got up slightly. And of course, risk off on the market meant that people were going into the US dollar there. Let's check out the commodities and see how that went. So we've got West Texas at the moment, 45 cents to $93. We've got Brent oil up $1.26 there to $100.60. Now, obviously, they're trying to get through, pull back that Iran nuclear deal to get it going. So that would open up more oil on the market. So that's a positive for the markets, but a negative for geopolitics and possibly world safety. So that's where that is at the stage. The gold at the moment down $20, gold down to $17.50. Looks very bearish to me, down 1%. Silver there down 35 cents, down to $18.77. That's going the opposite way. As you think it'd be going up, right? But it's going the opposite way. So that's going down there. Obviously, the US dollar going up. And of course, we've got soybeans there up 2.3%. And of course, we're still expecting major issues around food prices and food supply moving ahead, so watch out for that. Obviously, a big part of the wheat market is with the Ukrainian-Russia conflict, producer number 1 and 4. And of course, Ukraine, they're not being able to get all their wheat stocks out of I think they've only had one shipment out, not being able to get all those wheat out of there. That's not going to particularly impact the Middle East and Africa. So you can see some of these things play out later down the road. So you just got to keep track of all those, lots of stuff happening. Anyway, let's wrap up the stock market commentary. The Dow closed sharply lower Friday, driven by a meltdown in tech after Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell signaled that higher for longer interest rate rises would be needed to rein in inflation. Powell said that Fed's mission is to stabilize inflation was unconditional and would require maintaining a restrictive policy stance for some time, even if that results in sustained period of below trend growth. So there is a interesting way of wording that. The remarks arrived just as the latest data showed that the personal consumption expenditure, the Fed's preferred inflation gauge, slowed in July. So that's actually a positive, and hopefully that will feed into their calculations leading into September. Maybe we'll get a 75 basis points if inflation pulls back from August and the employment numbers aren't so high. Maybe we might get a 75 basis points. Otherwise, we might reasonably expect a whopping 100 basis points there. So that would be something to look out. The Fed chief didn't provide any fresh clues on whether the central bank is leaning towards 50 or 75 basis point hike, but said the decision would depend on the totality of incoming data and the evolving outlook. So obviously, if there's some natural retracement, that would soften the need for an aggressive 100% basis points or even a 75. We may get away with 50, but I suspect at least 75 basis points is probably where we're probably sitting at this stage. Treasury yields climbed following the pushback from Powell denting sectors of the market with higher valuations such as tech. Remember, yields were going to look like they might have crashed if the Fed had decided to go more dovish rather than hawkish, but they went very hawkish on that one. So that's kind of how the market reacted. There, I'm not going to go through all the stocks. That's pretty much it. So cool. Let's jump into crypto. How did crypto react? So if the markets were down 3% on the stock market, crypto is continuing to slide here. It was down 4% earlier. Now it's down 6.5% on Bitcoin, down to 20,193. Remember that Bitcoin's got quite a critical level at 19,750. If it breaks that, then obviously we're going down earlier than we anticipate. So we're talking about possibly October, November. And of course, we can always get there earlier, right? This welcome to crypto, welcome to markets, as it were. ETH down at $1,500. Wow, 11%. Now, will we get a relief rally into the merge excitement, the second wave? Obviously, we've been dented here today, but will we get one? We will find out. And of course, BNB down dramatically, down 8% as well to $277. So pretty big blow to the markets today. All right, so but of course, there's always buying opportunities, and I'm sure we'll get some reprieve, possibly. It's never inevitable, but of course, we've seen that a lot lately. But definitely got that actually reacted instead of batting it off. You know how many times the market was batting off bad news? Well, it didn't bat off the news today, did it? And of course, if we get more bad news, that is definitely possible. So let's have a look at Hex. Hex at the moment just dropped down to 4.6 cents. And we've got good news. So we said it was the good, bad, and ugly. We talked about the ugly news. We're going to talk about the bad news, and we're going to talk about the good news. So this is where it gets better. So at the moment, we've got the Hex at 4.6 cents, breathed off here. And we have got good news coming. We've got a couple of good news coming, but we have got some bad news. And I'm going to talk about that with the Hex Whalebot. So let's get into that. With the Hex Whalebot, we had this is a mixed bag. So we got this is the last day on the Whalebot. We had 100,000 Hex nuked, and we got a nice big penalty in there. So who knows? Sometimes these things get compromised. Sometimes people maybe just panic. I don't know, but this is weird. 696 days out of 3, 4, 5, 6. So weird on that one. Like I say, do look after your security. Don't tap into some weird websites or phishing sites. Just leave. If you've got stakes on a wallet, protect that with your life. Unless you're deciding to sell out, protect them with your life. You know what I mean? Not with your life, but you protect them. Let me put something that's a bit more sober. Protect them. Don't just don't claim weird claims or some tokens that came into your Ether scanned address. They're all scams and stuff like that. Protect your stakes is what I'm saying. Because they're going to be, increasingly valuable over time, despite the market conditions that we're expecting moving ahead. So there we had 3.2 million Hex sold 18 hours ago. We had some big stakes roll over there. This is the big news, of course, that people are talking about here. This 146 million penalty today, and of course that's going to feed into our one of our highest Hex payouts there. The Hex per T shares really amazing. So we've got 146 million Hex penalty. 99 day. This is served 934 days. This is an OG account, and of course from the beginning of Hex, and 99 days early it was done. 99 days early. Can you believe it? This was ended. Weird. Now, were they just responding to the market conditions at the moment, thinking, hey, the market's going down, the Fed's going to be negative? And of course, this was 14 hours ago, so this was anticipating a negative outcome. Is it that? Or is it because I think it's less likely it's a hacked account? Could be, but I think it's less likely, and I think it's just possibly a reaction to the risk market at the moment. But anyway, they ended up ending early and paying a big penalty for it. Just goes to show you. And of course, you can see the impact on the payout that we're going to talk about is massive for the Hex daily payout in the chart there. So pretty interesting. We're going to pop into here and see what people are saying about it. This Adam says he has a sell wall set up with limit orders. Obviously, he's got a lot of Hex in there. So let's go check his account and see what he's got. Paid a massive penalty, but we're going to jump into his account, see how much Hex he's got there. And of course, he has another stake that's due in 2030 or something like that. So he had two big stakes from the looks of it. And of course, he's got $9.5 million worth of Hex in there. It was worth over 10 million yesterday because the price of Hex gone down. But he definitely sold some. He sold some from US dollars and stuff like that. Let me have a look here. So there he was. He ended up 14 hours ago. Ended the stake there. Ended up with netting out 230 million hex there. He's ended up selling some through 1inch. So he's been selling stuff there over the last little wee while. And yeah, looks like it appears that he may have 1inch some limit orders setting up to slowly exit the position possibly. And of course, that's a big position, right? We got about $14 million in the pool last time I checked, maybe less now. And he's got $9.5 million worth of value. So obviously, dumping it would be pretty extreme. So limit orders is the way to go, and just slowly have that on there. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's kind of part of the bad news. There is good news. We get the massive hex payout for this year. The bad news is the amount of hex, if this person wants to exit, would definitely affect the hex market at the moment. Now, as you know, I was talking about Maxi coming up. That's very bullish. Obviously, we've got HSI buybacks are bullish. These are two fundamentals. But of course, that assumes we got normal conditions, market conditions. If we have, obviously in Hex, we know that if we have large liquid holders decide to sell down or people in stake, then that completely blows out any fundamental stuff. It can, when I say blow out, it means that it doesn't mean that we can't recover and move up. It just means that it sells down the market, and you can't do anything about that. We have this special one-off events, and we can have heaps of them. We've seen them in the past. We've had multiple accounts do that, sell liquid hex and stuff like that. Now, these are some of the bigger accounts. So whenever they come up, they can impact the market and, of course, dampen down any of the bullish things, or at least net off some of that bullishness. So the upside, maybe scrape off some of the upside that's kind of there. So we'll be watching this pretty closely over the next few while. But despite that, we still have the Maximus coming up, and that potentially could be quite huge. Now, obviously, that fails. I've talked about 10%, maybe 15%, so 60, maybe 90 million hex buying on the market. Of course, this is 205 million here, so you can see this would net off a lot of that upside. So, basically more than the upside. So we've got to take that into account. Now, I don't know the answers to that. I'm just talking out the pros and cons. The market will decide where it goes. And those are some of my estimates there, and they can be wrong, right? So there we are. All right, so let's get into that. So that was pretty cool, but the payouts, good news. The bad news is that depending on whether they decide to sell down all that stuff, maybe they don't. Maybe they stop. They've got some limit orders. Maybe they sell a certain amount. Maybe they stop. Who knows? We'll find out. And we'll see that in the price chart there. All right, so the price is down at 4.6 cents at the moment. And, of course, we do have that happening. So that's a cool payout. Let me just jump back out of there. We got, 13 hours ago, we had 4.2 million sold, 5.6 million sold 13 hours ago. Then we had 4 million bought 11 hours ago, so some good news there. What else? Let's jump through some of this. 93 million hex stake for short term, so it's a short term staker. 5.6 million hex to sold for $260,000. It was 8 hours ago. 4.7 million bought 6 hours ago for $217,000, so a bit of a mixed bag there. And then, of course, 4.8 million hex just bought for $225,000. That was 5 hours ago. This seems to be the last big whale bot there that's moved in the hex price. So cool. At the moment, we're at 4.6 cents. So we're actually interesting because this is obviously with the Powell news, with the big staker here coming out. And then, of course, those two things, so the ugly and the mixed bag, it's a good and bad. Then we've actually got this positive week ahead of us, potentially three weeks or so, with potentially a Maximus launch following in after the COSA launch. So we're going to talk more about that. That's kind of where we are at this stage. So cool. Let me jump into the quad charts. We're going to race through these because I want to do the COSA day, the end of day 12 results. Let's jump back to the markets here. Let's get back. Actually, we'll do this really quickly. So we've got obviously a Hedron here having a massive time. And of course, look at this. Went up to 4,000 there, or 400 if you're using 8 decimals places. And of course, wow, it's currently at 3,401 at the moment. So that's pretty cool, or 341. And I notice it keeps dropping off a decimal there, but that's the way it goes. So that's pretty cool. And I think it was much higher. It was up here like 3,800 when I started the live stream. So let's come back there. You can see the big volume candle. The RSI still not overbought yet. And it's teasingly up here and up in the 70s. So actually the chart's still looking pretty good. Even against the the tide at the moment. So because it is the darling at the moment, right? This is the darling. We have still got the fundamentals. We've still got the ICOSA launch phase. We've got 2 more days to go. We've still with the Watts NFTs. We've still got all that going. We've got November where we're going to have all the bullishness with the HSI sales, the Hedron burn, the ICOSA inflation to stakers. So still lots of beautiful stuff coming down the line. Obviously, there's a gap between now and then, so we could easily see a dip in the market there. I talked about some of the bullish fundamentals that we could potentially have as well in yesterday's live stream around ICOSA and Hedron. It's definitely worth looking out there. So definitely still got potential to move. It's certainly got the momentum as your friend, and that's worth a lot at this stage, and definitely the shining light on the hill. So that's kind of ICOSA. Hedron at the moment, obviously pulling down with Hex. ICOSA is at $1.36, and that's moving down obviously with Hex price there because people sell HSI stakes to the ICOSA contract, and it's pretty much arbed or linked to the Hex price there. Obviously, there are subtleties around Hedron bonuses and things like that, and launch phase HSI stakes. But apart from that, that's pretty much where the price is being met. Maxi at the moment. Look at this Maxi drama on Maxi. Look at that, man. Okay, so drama on Maxi went down to 5.88 cents. Wow. And of course, Maximus is coming up potentially with a launch this coming week. Man, that's 7.8 cents at the moment, but went down to 5.88. Let's have a look at the premium. Let's have a look at that. It's drama on the streets here. So we've got the extremes here. We've got a Hedron, which is looking amazing. Maximus here got a bit of sell-off here in the day candle. And of course, look at that, man, oh man. So there we are, wick down. It's currently a wick down. The premium wick down to, oh my gosh, the premium went down to 22%. 22%. My goodness. How do you value these things when you see something like that? Now, it could be just temporary, as the chart shows, and we're back up at 70%. But there, that's kind of some bizarre stuff, and the volumes there is a bit weird. So I haven't done any analysis of that, just looking at the chart. But that's some weird stuff right there. Let's have a look at that. So it was 4 hours ago that happened. 4 hours ago that happened. So some weird stuff there, really thinned out. So neat. Let me know in the comments section if you seen any commentary or have any perspective on that. Let me know. All right, so that is that's Maximus, and of course we're looking forward to that. So we're going to get into we're going to come back to that. We're going to come back to the BNB charts and the airdrop charts. We're going to get into ICOSA, and we're going to come back to Maximus later on. So here's ICOSA day 12 results. Let's go. Let's go with this. And sorry I haven't commented in the comments. I'll get back to the comments later on in the live stream. But here we are, ICOSA at 41 billion points. So 41 billion points for ICOSA staking. We've got Hedron staking at 70,000. We hit 70,000, 157 trillion points in the Hedron staking. So that's continued to go up. We've got We Are All SA. SA means source account. So WATSA is the short for that. You can see WATSA there. We've got 17.76 trillion points in the pool so far. Remember, this is the 14-day mint phase. We're 12 days through, 2 more days to go. And of course, the average NFT size, 1.09 billion points there, 1.09 billion points. And of course, the total supply is 16,280 watts of NFTs. These are the special pool here. These will become an exclusive club. Man, it's going to be fun to watch this play out. Now, I know many of you have got watts of NFTs. It's going to be fun to see that. And yeah, wow. The average size of 1.09 billion. So those are the results so far for day number 12. And of course, we're going to hit the blockchain and actually look at the physical numbers of ICOSA, Hedron, etc., and what's the NFTs. So let's see what the blockchain's telling us. We're going to refresh this. We've got 982,000 ICOSA, which is the total supply. This is really the liquid supply, and we've got 1,008 holders. We're going to scroll down and see how much ICOSA is actually staked. I mean, when ICOSA gets staked, it gets burned. You remint it later on, just like you do in Hex. So let's add that in. We're going to go down to, where is it? The ICOSA, that's number 18. So ICOSA staked. We're sitting at 9.5 million there. So let's go 9,527,000. And we're going to add that with our supply up the top here. Now we're creeped over $10 million. And let's see where we're up at now. So 982, so 982,000. So we're at 10.5 million ICOSA excluding the yield, of course. And we are expecting a major inflationary event in November when we get all these exercise stakes coming along. So that is where we are at the stage. So if we're looking at the points, we've got 41,000 billion points there. 41 billion points there for ALGO staking, and about 10.5 million in supply with that liquid and the staked amount added together. With the Hedron, let's have a look at that. So we're going to refresh this too. Our total supply of Hedron, remember this is different, so this doesn't get burned when you stake it. And of course, it's currently at 95.75 trillion Hedron in the market. Is that a big number? Trillion? You like that? Anyway, so to 20,813 holders. The balance at the moment in the staking address is 16.5 trillion, which is 17.22% of all the Hedron. Obviously, if you adjusted for the Hex Godwell Origin accounts, SA account, then that must be very high. I don't know the number, so I don't say what it is, but it must be the staking percentage must be relatively high if you just take out those three large holders. So let me know in the chat if you've heard any numbers around that. If someone has actually done any of that work, let me know. I just don't have time to do that sort of stuff. So cool. And yeah, there we go. So what else? I think we're going to talk about that keeps going up. So that's good. And we see that in here, that staking just keeps going up on there. So very, very nice. Let's jump over to the Wattses. So we're going to go down to here. Now, obviously, Wattses here, you need to get a Wattse, you need to buy them through the pretty much mint them out there. And of course, you can use ETH, wrapped ETH, USDC, Hex, Hedron, and Maxi. Those are the tokens you can use. So we're going to look at the Hedron deployer, which receives those funds. And we're also going to look at the We Are All SAs, because remember, we've got 16,220. So let's mint that. And we're going to, refresh this. And there we are, 16,220 Wattses. And we get extra information on the blockchain. We've got 5,138 holders. And we can go down to the holders here. That's about just over 3 Wattse NFTs per holder. And of course, we can see the large whales that are holding NFTs here. Now, this is numerically speaking, of course, and they probably got more value in there too. And we can see those lined up there. Lots and lots of these NFTs. Why do I have so many? Because to get your yield that you've got in your to capture your ALGO yield, you need to be able to pull out your NFT. When you do that, to get your yield, your NFT gets burned, and so you lose it and it's gone. So over time, you're going to see these numbers decrease because over time, people will capture some of the yield, and it's pretty much the last man standing. Once the last person has claimed, it's all over. But if you don't claim, you receive ALGO forever, as based on the supply and demand fundamentals of the underlying contract. So that is kind of there. Let's have a look at how much people have put in terms of money. Well, here we are with the Hedron deployer. This is what all that money that people spent to get it. It's currently up at $13.7 million US at the moment, given the market prices. Obviously, we had a bit of pullback, but Hedron is up, so there's a bit of give or take. They got 458 Ethereum in there with 687,000. They got Hedron there. I think that's 1.8 trillion, and it's worth 6.3 million. We got Hex there at 668 million. Hex in there. And of course, $3.1 million. They got USDC, 2.5 million USDC. The stable of DAI stable, $1 million in there. Wrapped ETH 16.22 at 24,000. And the other big one there, Maximus, being the number one holder of Maxi now at 26.7 million Maxi. And of course, this doesn't include the million that the Hedron deployer benevolently went and burnt on behalf of the Maximus holders, which was a third of 1%. And of course, that reduced the Maximus supply down from 294.3 million down to 293.3 million. And that's pretty amazing. And of course, Maximus, a good chance that will be launching this week. Very, very good chance. And of course, all going well, or at least getting a launch date that they're going to burn 20% of the Maxi that's going into the team minting. So that's going to be further deflation for Maxi token. So bullish all around there. All right, so let's see how we get on there. So that is the numbers there for the Wattse. That's the end of day 12 results. We've got 2 more days to go. Entering day 13, pretty nice. We're going to have a quick look at the HSIs, 1,217 HSIs at the moment, and the HSI contract there. We're going to jump over to the Hedron Whalebot, and of course, all these, let me just refresh this to make sure I've got the latest, greatest number here. And you know me, I like to at least get pretty close to the the actual number. Where's the thing gone? Have we had all these? Man, there's been a lot of transactions since I looked at this. Hedron is like insane at the moment because the transactions going through Whalebot is just insane right now. So yeah, so this is when I checked it just before the live stream in the last hour. It's had so many transactions going through here. That's some crazy stuff. Let me make sure that I'm not missing anything since I'm laughing at how many transactions there are. That's some crazy stuff right there. Let me have a look there. Sold. All the Hedron there. I'm looking for HSI stakes, by the way, if you're wondering what I'm looking at. Okay, no extra ones there. So this gives us the final number. I added it up. Let's go. Let me go to the HSIs here. So HSIs, so if we added up the amount that's gone through the Whalebot, that's 555s and long stuff there, 2.1 million hex locked up over the last 24 hours. That brings our total HSI lockups from the Whalebot, and presumably eventually all of these being sold to the ACOSA there. That's a 104.4 million in day 12. Pretty amazing. And remember, the Hedron deployer as well received something like 68 million hex. So that's incredible numbers. If you add that up going through ACOSA, and so 104 million plus 68, that's 172 million going through ACOSA there. And of course this is the real number we worried look at, because this is how much has been locked up for 15.2 years. Amazing. 104 million. Awesome stuff. So that's what I'm talking about, the fundamentals. Now, a certain amount of this will buy on the market, and we saw that originally in the launch, ran up to Hedron, plus speculation in there as well. But of course, that's what we expect to see. And this is what we've got coming here potentially with Maximus, but maybe at a 4 or 5x greater magnitude. So we're going to find out. The market will decide. We're going to find out. So if all the Maximus perpetuals hit the big payday bonus, 150 million each, that's 600 million. Maybe some of them do better than others. We just don't know. We're going to find out. The best optimal outcome is for 150 million each, because you get the bigger pays better bonus optimality. But yeah, it's going to be fun. And of course, if a certain amount of percentage of that goes to buy hex on the market, if it's 10%, that's 60 million hex. If it's more, it's more. We'll find out. So the market will decide. But certainly fundamentally, it's bullish. But of course, we do have issues around large liquid holders that potentially could sell down in this risk-off environment. So we were going to find out. And it's not all going to be straight down. We're going to have ups and downs and relief rallies and things like that. So a few things there. All right, so let's jump over to the HSI buybacks. And of course, I've actually updated the numbers for the last 2 days. So day 11 there, I've got 128, and day 12, 114 HSI buybacks there. And of course, you can see that on the chart. We've got 2 more days to go. So it's kind of, this is all coming up. And so we're going to have a bonanza for Hedron liquidation sales from the 14th of November all the way through. We're going to have, it's going to be a fun time. And of course, as you guys know, those liquidations show up on Hedron. And we can see that here on the UTAP here. So you just come to here, and of course, you just click on here. They're all going to show up here, thousands and thousands, over 5,000 of them so far. And hey, we've got 2 that are on at the moment. There's one in liquidation. Look, this one's being bid on right now. These are really small little 137 B shares. This is the biggest one out of all of them, actually. And these are really small 2713 B shares. There's 137. It's got 761,000 Hedron on it. You have to bid Hedron. You can bid that. See bid. You can just click bid. And of course, you have to put Hedron in there. And you just have to beat that bid. Should you be outbid, the amount of Hedron you had bid will be returned to your wallet. If additional bids are placed within the last 5 minutes of auction, action time will be added. So just remember that 5-minute extension time. So on this auction, pretty cool though. So we're going to have, we've got 2 here at the moment. Imagine having 5,000 over a 2-week period, or 5,500 by the time we get there. Pretty insane, right? Pretty insane. It's going to be good. All right, cool. Maybe 40,000 t-shirts or something like that. That's the numbers I've heard around. So cool. There we are. All right. So that is the ACOSA day 12. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Now, let me just see if I've got any further information on that. I think I've got other information, but I'm not. It's so overwhelming. We'll just leave it at that. I think it's a pretty good wrap up. All right. So let's get back into the markets. And of course, we're going to kick into the Hex Daily Stats soon. But we're going to talk about Maximus next. So let's get back into the Hex charts there. And so that is where Hetron at the moment is at 3,540 or 354 at 8 decimal places. Looking pretty good on the chart there. It's just rolled over to a new day, by the way. This chart has just rolled over to a new day. And so that is a new candle looking good. And of course, what else we got there? The ICOSA there at $1.37 with Hex currently at 4.5 cents there. And obviously we've got that large liquid holder there. Appears to have some limit orders in place. So we'll see. All right, so Maximus, of course, we want to talk about this again. Drama on the streets, that premium going down to 22%. That's some crazy stuff right there. It's how do you value something with, you get a certain amount of stability in here, and you've got to say, okay, it's got decent value premium, but then here we are, get so close to a 1-to-1, and of course the treasury value is just above the Hex value, and of course that's well below the market premium value, which is pricing in future value into the contract today, which is one of the fantastic things about it. And that's why I think the base token, which is coming up as one of the perpetuals, the 1 year token, will probably do pretty well and could suck in a lot of Hex, maybe well more than 150 million. So we'll see how that goes on that one. So it's currently at 70% premium. We had a few little updates from a dip catcher over the last 24 hours. He goes, retweet if you absolutely love Hex. Fully complete, ordered, secure, smart contract that just works. Hex in, Hex out yield structure has no risk of catastrophic collapse or unwinding. A vibrant, diverse, intelligent community focused on marketing and expanding a financial utility. So I like that. So I'm going to retweet that. That's a pretty good comment. Now I just wanted to scroll up here. So we've got another little one here. So in 5 years, in two years, Maxi will have accrued 190 million Hex. And of course, that's the future value, and it's going to be amazing. Base will have experienced 2 auto compounding stake cycles. So obviously, base is the 1 year. That's the new product that's coming up. Team stakers will have earned 2 years of yield. Also, team market may be heating up in preparation for year 3 staker payout from base, trio, 369 Maxi rebate. So that's a really good insight there around the Maximus products. Now, this we could potentially get a what am I trying to say? Could potentially get a what happened there? Did they get some new tweets? Yeah, I think we got some new tweets there. Sorry about that. So let me just scroll back here. 48 minutes here. We've got some new tweets just updated. So this has just all come out. Now, obviously, he's got here. Stream yesterday may have been my most valuable pack stream ever, especially the part where when we answer Lucito's questions about comparing Maxi earnings with the team. So that's definitely worth watching if you are looking to participate in the perpetuals coming up. One large Maxi minter sold his bag, and it was this is talking about that spike that we just talked about. This big spike down, man, oh man, that was pretty amazing. One large Maxi minter sold his bag, and it was redistributed amongst dozens of dip catchers. I love that, who were in the right place at the right time, loading up to mint team. Congratulations to both seller and buyers. That's true. That is so true. Really, really cool there. Let's retweet that. That was good. I like that. So that's pretty nice. And the seller's average execution price was around $1.5. So they gained 50% on their Hex over 4 months. Bottom buyers are up 35% on Hex in just a few hours. There we are. So that's a really good alpha there. I like that. So nice. Let's jump up here. One trio for 1 Hex contributed to the trio stake pool. Then after 3 years, you can either redeem 1.48 Hex per trio burned, or simply keep your trio and roll forward into the next 3 year stake. I like that alpha there. So very, very nice. Now those perpetuals coming up, we've got the base, the trio, the lucky, and the dicky. Those 4 potentially huge for Hex, and of course the biggest fundamental in the near term. In addition to obviously ICOSA and Hetron playing out at the moment. And we've got 2 more days of the What's NFT. And of course, after that, there will be no more What's NFT options. You have to buy them on the market pretty much. And someone told me the other day, was it 2 days ago, they made a What's NFT for like $60, $70, and they sold it for half of an Ethereum. Can you believe it? I think it was on OpenSea, but they sold it for half of an Ethereum. So that would have made them, what, $800? So sounds like they made at least a 10x return on that. So there is some people doing some interesting stuff with these things. The Maxi Piranha is eating up the dead whale. Buy. You can see all the buys in there. So there we are. Some nice commentary on that one. And of course, you can see the premium now back at 70%. Wow. So drama on the streets of Maxi and the lead up to the big launch of perpetuals. And of course, this is the biggest fundamental for Hex coming up in the next 3 to 4 weeks. subject to launch date, which I expect a very, very high chance will be next week. And of course, we're expecting the audits to wrap up pretty much Sunday, Monday. So let's see what happens next week. Stay tuned. That could be massive for Hex and of course for Maxi as well, with the 20% burn of the team. And of course, let's see how much actually goes in there. The market will decide. So let's jump over from Dipcatcher, quickly check the BNB markets. And of course, here we got Pulse Dodge, the original, currently under 0.5%. So you can see that's under 0.5% there. Still not looking too bad here, especially with the pullback in BNB. Remember, BNB down 7% there to 279. Was over $300 if you recall. So that's where that is at the moment. So it's doing relatively well. Pulse Dodge compared to that. P33 down just at 11 cents there, holding up well versus BNB, but not looking great on the chart itself. But hey, a lot of the charts not looking so hot at the moment, but definitely not looking that great over time. IM there is at 1,000, trying to establish itself. Let's talk about this a little bit more. It's got a pretty messy chart, but it's still moved higher, but over a very long period of time. So you could almost yawn, but it's still making a good move. It was making good progress back here, but of course then got pulled back down. But it has got higher lows now, and if it can establish itself at 1,000, bodes well potentially for trying to move up. Especially, it's going to be difficult though in this environment that's become very bearish. But hey, not too bad. Let us get over to the airdrops. And of course, let's have a look at the weight token. The weight token at the moment is at just over 0.7 of a penny, holding up really well actually. But there's not a lot of volume in the market. Like I say, only maybe 4 to 6% has been minted, and most people are waiting. There's probably about 4.4 million or something a day being accrued to people that could potentially mint. So we're probably well in excess of a billion. Probably 1.1 billion or something like that at the moment is potential market total supply. But the amount minted is only maybe 60 million or something like that. I haven't actually checked for a little while, but it's probably pretty low like that. Actually, let's check it while we're here. Just while we're here, we might as well do that. Let's have a look here. Weight token. Wait. Have I not got that? Oh, it's on a different list. Let's go to the airdrop list and let's go check the weight token there. And we're going to go to the markets and check that and see how much is minted. Okay, 64. Yeah, it wasn't too bad there. I said 60 something. So 64 million weights been minted, 3,048 holders. That's nothing compared to this total supply, that the accrued amount that's not minted by people. Like I say, it might be like 4 to 6%, something like that. All right, cool. Let us get out of there. So that's it. So look at Pulse Dodge coin. Obviously, we're waiting for staking and minting. There was nothing out from the team today. I checked the tweets, nothing out there, but we're currently at $3.65. Really cooled off here. And of course, in pretty much waiting for that staking and stuff. So if that comes out, we could easily see a nice little rally on Pulse Dodge. But at the moment, without that news, it is pretty much being sold off for Hedron or something like that, or whatever else is going on there. It really has been a victim of that. This is the hourly chart. Let's go to the daily. And this is cooled off. Now, obviously, there's probably buying opportunities in here. But once again, you need to make that up decision yourself. Where would we might reasonably go? We've got $3.36 here as sort of a resistance, which could become support. We already bounced off this level here, which is kind of around $2.90 here. So we've sort of bounced off that. So yeah, still calling off there. I haven't done a Fibonacci retracement, but it's definitely probably been pretty severe on that one. Maybe 75 or something. I don't know, but definitely have a look on that one. It's definitely potential value in there at some stage. Maybe it's not quite there yet, is my guess. Maybe it's safer around the $3 mark. We will see. Not investment advice. All right, cool. Let's jump over to the Hex daily stats. And of course, yeah, look at that, man. Like a boss. Day 999. Woohoo! We've just entered day 999. I like it. I like it a lot. All right. Hey, we're not going to talk about day 999. We're going to talk about day 998. The results, hopefully they're out of press. Not there yet. Oh, man. What time is it? Oh, they should be out any minute now. We'll come back to that. But day 997 still there. We're waiting for day 998. Man, oh, man. Tomorrow, folks, is day 1000. Woohoo! Now, I guess there's going to be a lot of content creators out there celebrating the day 1000 for Hex. It's a great day. And, man, it's going to be great for marketing, Hex has been over 1,000 days in the market. Come on. and all those old narratives, those old hurdles, around scam and all the other things, they're going to dissipate. Whoever's left, that is, because many have capitulated and say, well, I promoted Terra Luna, I promoted Celsius, I wrecked you, but but Hex is a scam. Hex is an immutable contract on the blockchain. It just keeps ticking over. The community keeps growing, and it's proving itself, and it's about to hit 1,000 days. And things are only getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, price dips are always in the game. Bear market's always in the game. Financial climates change. Cheap money, it can become expensive money. All that stuff still plays out. But the Hex contract is about hit 1,000 days, which is pretty epic. So very, very, very cool. We're going to wait for day 998 to come out off the press. In the meantime, we're going to quickly jump over to the Hex staking here, because we have got a big Hex stake coming up. So I like that. We have got a few hurdles at the moment. Some of them just came to the market, and that's what I say. You just never know what's going to come up here. So we're going to look at to the end of the year. Let me just scroll into here. Let's look into the end of the year with us. This is a global staking ladder. This is everybody stakes. So we always have the front run stuff. This is stuff where people have large amount of liquid Hex, and they just keep restaking it. And sorry, not liquid Hex. They just keep restaking the Hex short term. It is relatively liquid. And of course, they just scrape the interest off a lot of the time. And that's the way they go. Or they just like to keep optionality in there, which is why some perpetuals are kind of cool. But we've got this big candle coming out on the 1st of September, 1,266,000,000. Now that's made up of a number of stakes, of course. That candle used to be about 700 or 800 million. And of course, some of the ones from early August restaked onto this candle, as I said yesterday, and I think the last couple of days. So that's coming up though. So we will see. I suspect that most of this will get restaked, but we don't know. With the changing climate with the changing climate with the Fed and stuff like that, you just never know now. Nothing is off the table. But generally, under normal circumstances, we expect that these things just keep staking. But of course, there's only so much liquidity in the Hex pool, and there is obviously Maximus coming up. And so we're going to have to wait and see how the market plays out. Everybody's actions are going to play out, and we're going to find out how that rolls over. Once we get into, say, maybe the 6th or 7th, maybe by the 10th of September, maybe we'll see all this play out. We'll find out whether these all restaked, and we get some candles in the future. So if a lot of these will just keep restaking, we'll see them just keep popping up in the future here. But as you can see, we're getting better and better and better. There's much less hurdles in the market in terms of stake candles. But of course, there's still a lot of people with liquid stuff and people that can early in stake, as we saw with that big stake today. Yesterday, sorry, that played out. So we've still got that going in. And let me just go out to 2023 here. Let's go to September. Let's go to September the 2nd. We're going to go out instead just to the end of the year. We're going to look out the whole year ahead. This is the year ahead. So you can see that we've got quite a bit of stuff in January coming up. But then we got not much stuff before that. After that, sorry. And our next big candle in the year ahead is 24th of July there, 405 million there. So a billion candles, we may not see a billion candle for a long time, assuming this candle here breaks up, and we may not see another one, but we'll find out. We may be back down to the hundreds of millions rather than the billion candles, and say goodbye to billion candles as it slowly breaks up. I don't know. We've probably got billion candles coming up in the future somewhere, but definitely in the next year, that's looking less likely. So that's positive on that front. Very cool. All right, there we go to day 998, not out yet. That's the way to go. We're going to go back to the Hex chart. Let me just close down some of these things as well. We're going to close down the whale bot there. Let me just close down. I'm going to close down all my COSA files here. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. And we're waiting for day 998 to come hot off the press. We're going to close down the BNB and the memes. We're going to keep open. We're going to close that down too. We're going to keep open our Hex charts and see where we are at this stage. So cool. So as you guys know, there we are, 4.5 cents on Hex. And we've got oh man, hedge on, man. That is just keep going crazy good. Look at that thing, man. Woo! Hot dog and a dog. Hey, we started a new day, so we're just entering the overbought territory. But like this shows back here, we could stay there for a few days So it's looking pretty good at the moment. 3886. Very nice, as we say. Very nice. All right, let's get into some of the comments. I'm miles behind, so I do apologize. Normally, I'm always answering the comments. People go, "You answer every comment." I go, "Yeah, no, because community is number one, man. This is the way it goes." Yeah, today I've had to get through all that stuff. There's so much stuff going on. There's some crazy stuff right there. Jack X says, "Hey Soup, let's get this rundown into Q4 over with so we can get on with things," says Jack X. Yeah, absolutely. Rather than 10K wick down to BTC this September and then up to 30 to 60K for 30 to 60K for the next 12 months, says Money Magnet. Hi folks, Pulse God in the house there. Also stuck in hospital getting my appendix out. Someone tell me a funny joke, says Jack X. Oh, that stuff, man. We wish you the best with that, Jack X. I predict Hex, the woodwide inflation comes from the money printing in 2020. Yeah, they stepped that up big time, didn't they, with the money printing? I didn't even talk about that because I didn't want to get too long-winded with the monetary policy. But that is definitely the case. Energy price hike from Russian conflict and the ongoing Chinese COVID-0 policies. Well, the biggest thing with the energy price is actually from the US stopping the fracking and net exporting. That's the biggest problem. That was definitely D1 in there. It might get applied then the limit orders in at Mandingo Swap. Get them. Yeah, it says D1. DCA and limit order says Great White. That's true. All right, so Constantine in house there. Long time. Great to see you again. Hey, Constantine, good to see you. Did you load up a Hedron Icosa and WhatsApp? Well, everybody's been talking about that. We covered that yesterday, Constantine, in our second live stream. Everyone was definitely farming into that. We did a survey, and I think what was the survey? How much? I think it was pretty good. I think it was 65% or something had loaded up. That was pretty good. What else there? We're going to... what else there? Let's jump through. We got DB Coop in the house. Good to see DB Coop. Cooper, Hex. Yeah, one day closer to Pulsechain too, DB. Yeah, it's 2 days left for what's the NFTs. So Icosa minting in terms of HSI buybacks, that does not end. That just keeps going. So no problem there. Let's have a look here. We'll jump through some of these. Brendan says, "How we feed the ducks if there's no wheat?" Yeah, true that. Let's jump through some of these. We're going to jump through those. Sorry if I missed your comment. I'm just trying to catch up to all of these. What time is it now? Oh, I'm 40 minutes, still 35 minutes behind in the comments here. Jumping through all these. Going through all those. We've got some, unfortunately, some of those terrible adult sites in there, unfortunately. Jump through all those. We've got Get Hex in the house. Good to see Get Hex. Globetrotter. Woohoo, Superman. Good to see you. And Hexkin Batman. I love it. I love how many superheroes there are in our community. Isn't that cool? Hashtag. Good to see you guys in the house. Rothko says, "We are here in the right place at the right time." Congrats, everybody. I like that, Rothko. We're definitely in the best part of crypto with the Hex ecosystem and the Pulsechain coming. It's definitely going to be amazing. What else have we got going there? Let's jump through some of these. PLSD staking, they should call it breeding, says Briz. Gunther's plane is facing the wrong direction. Oh, yes, it is too. It is too. Oh my gosh, I've got to pull that up. That is true. That is true. Thank you for pulling it up. We're going to, I've lost it. It won't let me pull it up. I'm going to fix that later on. Stay tuned. Day 998 is hot off the press. Woohoo! All right, didn't get quite through all the comments. I'll catch up to those in a second. Actually, how far away am I? Not too sure. Gunther's plane is facing the wrong direction. I'll fix that up later on. Accumulate dry powder now, says Aussie. Good to see Empty Corner in house as well. That 1 billion stake should end stake early. Yeah, it's made up of several stakes, but definitely true. Aussie Stone in the house. Awesome channel, man. Woohoo! I appreciate that. Ted Nelson says, press the likes all. Only 6 likes. Are you kidding me? Is there only 6 likes? Seriously? 34 likes. So thank goodness for that. Thank you very much, Ted, for doing that. Morning from Oz, brother Kiwi says UFO. Man, we're getting massively hit by those terrible adult sites. Hedron, yeah, 1,000 days of peace. I like that. What else there? UFO says the Hedron mooning is making me want to dump my ex for Hedron in the short term. It seems damn unstoppable. What do you think? Hex risky UFO. It's you probably still got a little bit of upside, but you're taking a lot more risk on now. That's all I would say. But yeah, be cautious with that strategy. Yeah, but it's up to you, UFO, up to you. I just say be cautious with that one. DB's in house says, lol, Gunther's plane is off the radar. Yeah, it is off the radar. It's still at the top there. I've got to fix it up. I'll try and fix it later. Let's get on to that. I love that daily payout, says Briz. Yeah, I know. Let's talk about it, Briz. That's where we are now. And that is where we go. Let's do it. All right, so here we are, day 998. Woohoo! Yeah, Hex T-shirt. This is the good news. We're talking about the ugly news. We're talking about the bad news. We're talking about some good news. And let's talk about the really good news. This is the payout for stakers. Obviously, you just keep accumulating that Hex. And, of course, you have to play out the market prices at any particular time. We've got day 998. And, of course, the 26th of August, we've got a price down of basically 10% at just under 4.6 cents. We've got the Hex daily payout. Now, this is the best news of the day. Obviously, there's two sides to this news, but we've got 13.199 Hex per T-share payout. Briz, I love that more than you. I almost passed out of my chair. Can you raise your stakes on that? I almost passed out on my chair. I mean, that was awesome. It's one of the best days in the payouts, and terrific stuff. I'm not even sure we have the payouts on this chart. It doesn't quite regulate as it used to. Let me have a look here. I'm not sure if this has the dates in there as well. It used to. Let me have a look here. 20. Oh, that missed too much. I've gone to zoom too fast. All right, let's. Oh, is that not zoom? Oh, terrible. Okay, let me just get the Mac to get this right again. What's the date? Has that got the right date on these? September. Oh, that looks terrible. I don't know why this chart's looking so weird. Sorry, man. I just botched up this chart. I got to do it again. Oh, man. I hate doing this live stream sometimes. Sometimes you really botch up and it's all on video. How about that? Just the way it goes. All right. Let's get into it. Let's zoom in on this, and hopefully it's going to work this time. I don't know why it's facing to the left. I don't want it to adjust itself. Is it going to? I don't know what that does there. Let me have a look. All right, so 2021. I don't know. That's even negative. Let's have a look at some of these. Yeah, it looks like it's like is it the second best day? I'm not sure. Second best day. We got this day up here. What day was this one? Doesn't actually show, but yeah, I think it's the second best day possibly. All right, let's go off there. So, all right, so we're at 13.199, which is pretty epic. Let's do the maths on that. Let's do some maths. So 13.199 times the market price. Let's say the market price is 0.0. What did I say? 0.46. Say, let's say 46. That is almost 61 cents per T-share that you've got. So that's pretty cool as well. Now, obviously, if you've got a weaker exchange rate, it's even better. Now, the share rate today, it was up pretty good yesterday at 12.2, up 11.4 today, and we're sitting at 23,266. So that is the T-share. It's only going up and to the right. It doesn't care what's happening in the market. It is just going up, up and away, and pretty big deal. We actually had 3 dot days in the last 10 days. We've had some pretty decent increases. We had 1, 2, 3, 4 big days actually in the increase in share rate. It is going up and to the right. Now, the only way to get that cheaper, of course, is to stake out 10 years. You get 20% more shares per year, so 200% more shares. Because when you stake your Hex gets burned, and of course you get shares in return. Shares is the ownership pool, and that's how it works. So the ownership pool gets the reward pool. Now, all right, let's have a look here. So we've got the average stake length is 6.56 years. The APY yield and emergency in stakes is 81.2%. Slap myself. I'm slapping my. Brazil, are you slapping yourself? That's some incredible yield there. That is some crazy stuff, man. Lie, you don't, says Briz. No, you don't. Yeah, love. It's true, Briz. It's true. I just slapped myself on live stream. What did you do? What did you do with that? And Roth goes in there as well. Briz says, throw me the link. I'll get on here and I'll slap myself on the live stream. That's crazy. Have no fear. Hex Huddle is here. Hey, good to see Hex Huddle. EES bonus. Woohoo, says Katie. Yeah. So 81.2% APY there. I like that. And of course, liquidity in the pool, 245.7 million hex in the pool there, and dramatically up from 207. And yeah, we're going to have some serious buying from the old Maximus perpetuals coming up if we're going to eat into this stuff here and offset that whale that's sitting on all that hex at the moment. All right, liquidity pool at 12.5 million. So we're down dramatically, $2 million from yesterday. Liquidity pool there at 1332. So it's obviously we're down 10%, and we've probably had some liquidity moves as well. Let's jump over to the T shares. Down a massive 28,000. Wow. Down 28,000. Yes, sirree. Now that's a big whale there. And man. So T shares there, 10.4 million. So we're down to 10,439,000. Remember, Hex is easy to understand. We have a reward pool, and of course we have inflation and penalties in there. The penalties are from people that don't keep their responsibilities with their stakes. And then we have the ownership pool that has T shares in it, and it's trillions of shares. We have a huge number of shares so that the system works mathematically. And of course, if you change the reward pool or the ownership pool, then the Hex payout per T share changes. And of course, that gets at the end of your stake, that gets recalibrated every single day with what we call the S-load function. Like this loops around and checks what rewards you get every single day there. So that's pretty much how that works. Let's jump over to the minted inflation there, 141.7 million. That is a big inflation day, and of course we always talk about Hex being a relatively low inflation environment because most of the inflation has been through the AA lobby and big payday, and of course we get inflation on minted Hex, and of course a lot of Hex gets burnt, right? So we've got to balance it out. That's a pretty big day, minted inflation there. Of course, that's just the way it goes. Circulating supply, let's move around there. It's gone up by 292 million, and that's a big day in the office. But stake supply has gone down 150. So there we are. And of course, the stake percentage of coins, 9.64% of Hex's stakes, down from 9.66%. And the penalties, woohoo, up and to the right with the penalties. That's some crazy stuff. And those adult sites, man, this will not stop attacking this channel at the moment. I don't know what's going on there. We got 147.5 million Hex penalties. Man, oh man. What a great last 10 days. Look at that, 10 million back here, 5 million back here, and that 2.8 million here. But dwarfed by the 147.5 million. Insane in the membrane. How about that? Insane in the game. There we are. So, all right, let's have a look at the growth numbers. Hex is growing. The stakes up 174, benefiting from HSIs as well. The HSI buybacks, pretty cool. And in the Hedron contract, we've got current stakers up to 106,398. We've got current holders of Hex up 101 to 309,238. Total stakers up 210 to 133,691. But of course, total holders up to 489,301, up 403. We're heading towards 500,000 on that number. But of course, the key number we're after here is the number of stakers, because Hex is all about staking, and that has been amazing. Look at that. Look at these numbers. And of course, benefiting from the Acosa Hedron a second layer build out onto the Hex ecosystem. And of course, we've got Maximus coming out with the perpetuals, and of course, we're going to have the base, the trio, the lucky Decky, 1 year, 3 years, 7 years, and 10 years, and they're going to roll over continually. There'll be a mint and redemption phase at each end of each period as people capture the yield and decide whether they want to stay in or not. And so that's bullish for Hex coming up over the next 3 to 4 weeks. Thank goodness we have it, especially in this climate. You got to be pretty happy about that because it will dampen down and possibly dramatically grow the ecosystem. And that's what we've been based on. The wind of opportunities, I've kept that narrative up, and that ends around the ETH merge, particularly now with the three sort of milestones that we've got coming up, or six, what do I call them? Beacons or whatever. I can't remember what I said at the moment. Signposts is what I was trying to say. Signposts. We had one today. We've got the inflation and employment coming out in September. We have to adjust our perceptions at that time. But we've still got the ETH merge coming 15th September. Will we get a couple of negative days next week, and then the market have a relief rally, and then of course ETH there have a second wave rally into the ETH merge? We'll find out whether that scenario plays out. But in any case, we're up to day 999. Yes, 999, the last day will be under 1,000 days, onwards and upwards. And of course, we're heading towards our first 5555 day. Can you believe it? Our first 555, that's still a long way away. When we hit 1,000 days, it's going to be 4,555 days away. But we're getting there. Isn't that crazy stuff? Mind-blowing. After we hit 1,000 days, we've got 4,555 days until the first 15.2-year stake ends. That's pretty amazing, that 555 club. So pretty mind-blowing. Now, our payout at the moment is base payout. It's pretty much around 6.12. And that's where we are. Let's see what happens today as well. So cool. That was fun. How did we turn such terrible news into such good news? I don't know, but it feels that way at the moment. Let's say how we're going there. Now, obviously, crypto is 24/7, and of course, the stock market is Monday to Friday. We're going to see how this operates over the next day or two with the old crypto. Crypto sometimes can show some odd resilience. We'll see how that plays out as well. All right, cool. That is the Hex Daily Stats. Day 1,000 tomorrow. Represent, man. Well, we're going to have day 999 results tomorrow, but we will have day 1,000 we will turn over. That's going to be a lot of fun. All right, maybe I'm going to have to. What day do I do it? Do I put in 5555 on the thumbnail tomorrow, or do I do it the next day? I don't know. It's crazy. Choices. All right, so let's jump out of there. Let's get back into the Hex chart. We Hex at 4.5 cents. We've got Hedron at 3,874. We got a Maxi at 7.7. We got a $1.37 on a COSA, which I think was pretty much around the fair value. And let's pull up the Hedron contract, because Hedron price, because that is the boss right now. Look at that thing go. All right, let's get into it. We got Brennan says, clip that slap, says Brennan. Nice one. Appreciate that, man. Hey, man. Brennan, you rap, eh? Hey, man. What Impulse says, hey, man, good to see you. PLSD has bolted into the Hedron kennel, says UFO. It seems like that's for sure. Get Hex in the house as well. Good to see you, Get Hex. Very cool. Hey, we're up to an hour and 15. We're going to wrap up now. Hope you guys enjoyed that. And of course, we're ending on a high. Hedron is flying to the moon, up into the moon. And there's still, we've just ended overbought territory. There's still room to move, as you can see. We could definitely still move up there. Obviously, not investment advice. But yeah, pretty cool. And yeah, people are speculating on that, and the lead up for November, of course, with all the stakes there. So yeah, it's doing pretty well. But remember, it did come off the bottom of 175. It's currently at 3874. So it's a massive actual return there already in the books. Katie says, thanks, great stream, Superman. You're welcome. Hex Hodl says, thanks for the stream. Yeah, you're welcome too. Nice one, Hex Token. Yeah, let's wrap up. And of course, let's play out I'm going to have a quick finish. I hope you guys take care, everybody. And let's play out some music, though. The music's always a good place to end. I'm going to play this one out. We're going to play Power City Core. And then, of course, get into a Pulsechain jingle. I love it. Pulsechain is coming one day closer, DB Cooper. One day closer. Peace out, everybody. Take care. Woohoo! Rock on.
Pulsechain does, world's largest free airdrop. I should probably tell them. Let's do it. if you guys have any coins on Ethereum, ERC20s, Hex, Hex stakes, Ethereum itself, you're going to get a free copy of all that on a chain I created called the Pulsechain. You can go play around the testnet right now. Go play with your coins. Pulsechain.com. Awesome. It's going to help get the Ethereum fees down. It's got higher throughput. It's deflationary. It burns 25% or more of the fees. There's no inflation. It never mints new coins. And it's going to be the world's largest free airdrop. So people love free money, and they don't like high fees. And this addresses all those issues. It's really cool.
So I put 10,000 into it early, super early. I bought the rumor, right?
Right.
What kind of return?
I never speak about. I'm very careful as a founder. Elon Musk isn't, so he gets sued by the SEC all the time. I don't have a security. There is no critical managerial entrepreneurial effort. There is no pool into which people put money with the expectation of profit so it can work with others. This is very specific legal language I'm using to show you that Hex removes the risk of securities. There is no middleman that can screw you. You always mint your own rewards. You always perform your own labor. You are the network. You are the effort. And so I'm very careful to make price predictions, and I almost never make them. I do them for Bitcoin, I do them for Ethereum, but in Hex, I almost never make them. And it's also harder to predict Hex, to tell you the truth, because it's such, the price moves around so much.
Right.
It's harder to predict. So Bitcoin did 690 million%, which is a 669, what the hell? 690,000x it did. Ethereum did about 20,000x. It went from 31 cents at the crowd sale on average. You could have bought it earlier and got it lower, or you could have bought the dip on Kraken when it went to like 15 cents. Now it's $1,600, was 5,000. So it did probably 20,000x. Hex did a 10,000x. I can list you a lot of other coins that did a lot of X's. In cryptocurrency, doing a lot of X's is very possible. And so could Pulse do the same 10,000x that Hex did in the same time frame, or possibly even quicker? Yes, it could. The likelihood of that event, I don't know. And that's an important number. I'm a smart dude, but I can't predict the future.
Just like you just said earlier.
Right.
Yeah.
So could it do a 10,000x in 620 days, 623 days? Sure, it could. That's what Hex did. Hex. So I when I invented Hex, I wanted it to outperform Ethereum, and Ethereum had done a 14,000x in 2.5 years, is what it did. It went from 31 cents to $1,400, maybe $1,500, depending on what exchange you're using. And it did that over 2.5 years. And I said, well, we've got better game theory. I coined the term pumpamentals. I don't use that term as often because people are, don't think it's as funny as they once did. And so we beat that target. And now, I look at the Pulsechain chat room, there's 60,000 people in it. I look at the Hex chat room, there's only 40,000 people in it. And Hex has been around for years.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think Pulsechain has a lot of really strong advantages in that it's easier to understand. Yeah, it's Ethereum, but it's faster, higher throughput, cheaper, and the world's largest free airdrop. And it saves the environment.
No brainer.
No brainer. Right. It's a
this
no-brainer.
coin does something. This thing does something.
Yeah.
The best.
Do you have a top 5 if you could?
Nope.
No top 5.
I'm a Richard Hart maximalist, bro. So next year it's going to be Pulsechain, Pulse X, Hex on the Ethereum network, Hex on the Pulsechain network. But why would you want worse gain?